Hello everyone, back again doing an update slash rant, etc, etc. Oh man, quite a bit going on. But first thing I want to talk about, and I'll probably cut it at this point because I already know what this is going to be. This is complete nonsense, this script that they're doing out in Utah today. Apparently there is a quote-unquote bang event that they always like to do. Mind you that tomorrow in 2 hours is the anniversary of 9/11, so of course you get your your ritual there, your scripted thing there. It's just the same old thing every September. You get it. So yeah, this guy, I don't even want to say his name because I already know the algorithm will pick it up, but there's a guy that I've heard of, and I've seen his little act and whatnot. He's like this, he acts like he's this conservative type, probably Christian type character. He's like a mainstream guy, which all you need to know is that he's mainstream to know that he's part of the system. So he's going to do whatever he's told for the system. He's granted money and fame and whatever you want, and God knows what he's involved in, so we won't even get into all of it, speculation. But supposedly he's no longer around from a bang event that someone, got rid of that issue, I guess, so to speak. I've seen his little scripts that he does where he goes to colleges, or college kids come and like harass him or whatever, and they're like, oh man, he's like trying to say like, oh, Christian values, so to speak, or like this like masculine, be a real tough guy and whatnot, all this scripted garbage. Like, oh man, make fun of dumb people, make fun of promiscuity, make fun of all kinds of these different things, but he doesn't really do anything. He's just like an actor. You can obviously tell. So I saw one person talking about it. I need to go check out his video. He does a lot on numbers and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go into all of that. I think there's good in a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that people are wrong about for a lot of things. It just depends on if they have it all down or what their motives are or whatever. But it's just kind of like you look at something and you decipher it, and that's how you should look at the world. So obviously, it's a script. I say it all the time. I've been actually very quiet on esoteric content lately, and I haven't really been looking into a lot of stuff for a lot of reasons. One, from being busy. Two, it's just the same old thing. Like, if you understand the basics, what's going to happen and whatnot, so to speak, if I can tell you in a few sentences about a topic, what this leads to that, this leads to that, and tell you different things, and you can stack it on top of each other, you know what's going to happen. It's the same old thing that happens all the time, and there'll be more. There'll be more and more. But usually they don't usually have an actor go out there and act like he supposedly is gone. So I reckon there's going to be some type of numerology and ritual numbers, gematria, all that type of stuff behind it. Obviously, the main goals are to get rid of the protection. We'll just say that's the word I'm going to say. We're going to get rid of the protection that people can have in their own homes and protect their land, protect their family, protect themselves. I mean, look around the world. If you don't have that kind of stuff, you should have that stuff. I know over in Europe and a lot of these other countries, they banned all that stuff. Australia, which there's so much history behind that. You can look up the Port Arthur in, I believe it was the 90s. And shortly before then, they said they needed a mass event to happen so they could get rid of protection. And now protection's gone in like Australia, Scotland, England, etc. Places like England are completely, like, they're on curfew. You're not allowed out after a certain time, is one thing. Other places, like during lockdown, all you had to do is look at how they got treated and whatnot. Even worse than in America. Because I don't really know that I saw a lot of things in America off the top of my head that were like people would, like the pawns, so to speak, the mid-level people were really stopping people from doing a lot, besides like, oh, you're not allowed to go to the store in California, and these main liberal type places, you know, so to speak. I don't even like saying that, but I mean, obviously we know that Los Angeles was a CIA headquarters after they came over in the 40s, after the good old bread lovers, we'll just say. They love the bagels, specifically. They were given that land, and now they're doing the war script, which you can look in the Bible. It specifically talks about don't be scared of rumors of wars and stuff like that, and you'll live through experiences you can't understand and so forth like that, and famine and MOB, so to speak, technology inside of humans and such, you know, such a thing. Excuse me, I'm kind of like worked up, and I'm walking. I've been walking for quite a long time here at a very fast pace, so excuse me for my lack of breath and so forth. But you know, it's just the same old thing. Like, we know that it's a script. I don't even have to really look into numbers to tell you it's a script. I don't even have to look at videos or people talking or who's in connection with who. All you need to know is that they're, you know, they were sponsored on YouTube. To me, I don't trust anyone who's sponsored on YouTube. I don't trust anyone who has 1 million or more subscribers on YouTube that they're legitimate. I feel like the system is allowing them to say things that they want them to say, so to speak. You know, because, like, there's a lot of good channels, in my opinion, that whether people like them or agree with them or whatever, I can name plenty of channels that I won't right now that uncover this kind of stuff. They tell this stuff in advance, and they go through videos and research numerology, and they have pictures, and they have, you know, they look up books like CM by KM. You know, I'm not going to say the words. Something Calm Man by Carl, you know, Ix Mar, you know, that guy, you know, that type of society and whatnot. That's where California comes from. But yeah, it just talks about, you know, giving up your rights and how everyone will turn on each other, and, you know, having no freedom, having no privacy, having no protection, etc., etc., and all the different things. I could go way, way down the, you know, way down the rabbit hole, and it's upsetting information for people. But it's like, the more they're going to do this, the more people are going to get on board, and they're going to be like, we need protection gone, we need robots to take over, we need to get rid of jobs, we need to get rid of you know, farms, we need to get rid of electricity, we need to get rid of travel, we need to get rid of you know, all the different things that people are used to having, that they always used to have until, you know, these sick people really took over. I mean, they took over in the 40s, but I mean, really, the mental experiment is done. Like, they've done about as much as they can do to make people just completely brainless and so forth. I know I talk about a lot of irrelevant nonsense a lot of times, but yeah, I've always had this type of mindset for the last, excuse me, I need to think here, maybe 8 years or so. You know, I was big into crime shows and big into music and entertainment and stuff like that, and I kept seeing the repetition, the patterns, and how everyone had to jump in on every political opinion and how everybody was the same. I noticed that in high school, even, you know, even before that. So, I mean, obviously, we know it's the same old thing. I mean, I could just keep repeating myself, but, you know, September, this year is 2025, so you get your 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 5 more for 2025 is 9. You invert that for 6, so 9 you invert to 6, so you have like your 9-2, your 9-3, your 9-12, your 9-13, your 9-19, your 9-18. There's so many, 9-27, 9-29, which they released some movies on 9-29 inversion. Get your 9, and then 2 more 9s is 666. Then you get your 9 as well, invert for a 6 for 2025. So we're really going to have that until like 2030. You know, that's a whole other subject about 2030. But you know, just not knowing what's in detail about a lot of this stuff yet. My little update on it. Don't fall for this stuff is all I can say. You know, you can look through history and there's always a cover up. There's always a script behind something. There's always a reason why something makes mainstream, because if it wasn't supposed to be mainstream, it'd be easily hidden. Everything in the media is controlled. All the celebrities and stuff are controlled. A lot of them are bloodline members. They're born into it. They take Freemasonic oaths and they say, we'll give you fame and fortune. We'll do whatever you want. We'll put you under blackmail and we'll own you. But you'll have all the freedom. You'll have all these great things, so to speak, but you'll burn in hell. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. You know, these people need to repent. They need to stop going along with these things, but they're too far gone. So, and I'm talking about the celebrities and all these people that push evil ideologies and such, you know, and I do mean evil ideologies. I can't even speak on almost anything. I feel like I just have to censor myself constantly, and it's very annoying because I know what I need to do. I know the way around things, but it's like it's very mist uncom, you know, type of thing. You're not allowed to speak. You're not allowed to, you know, that X mark type thing, all that type of stuff. Very give up your rights, you know, socialism, whatever you want to call it type thing. But it's pretty obvious, guys. And one of the most annoying things is the ignorance, which ignorance does not mean stupid, so don't get offended by that. Ignorance means the lack of understanding or the lack of knowing. So don't give me that issue there. I could go through a lot of different rants and whatnot, and I feel like sometimes when I rant, it's just me. I'm not really getting better by ranting. I'm just I get in a worse mood by ranting, so to speak. You know, obviously I need to do it quite often when I can, which is very rare that I even get a chance to make videos and have any quiet time, can focus, can really look into a lot of stuff anymore, because I'm just so busy with everything. Here's a kitty. I think I know this kitty, because I picked this kitty up and fed it and whatnot, took it around. The thing that it does is it stays right in front of you, so you can't walk faster than it. So it tries to trip you up. I don't understand that. But anywho, you know, it's just exactly what everyone predicts. You can look through history and find the books, the quote-unquote religious books, the overtaking, all that stuff. Like, that's why I need people to really follow my content and whatnot, because it's not about me, it's about helping others. And I advertise other people's content quite often, as much as I can. I don't like to tag them because I don't want any problems with that, so to speak. I'm trying to get more of a presence on social medias, from not just YouTube, but, you know, showing people's links and stuff like that, because it's very important. Like, if you don't understand how important it is, I mean, it's just, these scripts happen all the time, and then next week or next month it'll be something different, or something will take your mind off of it, and then nothing will matter. It's like, oh, the back of our mind. Then it just becomes a running joke, and then you wonder, what happened to our rights? What happened to our freedoms? Nothing. You know, they're just all gone. Like, you have nothing left, because, you know, the mass majority of people, they don't understand this stuff. They don't care. They don't want to do these things. I mean, I don't know what else to say. The mass majority of people I'm around do. So I don't really understand. I don't understand what the big problem is, but they're just so entranced by entertainment, entrainment, you know, witchcraft, all these different things. You know, obviously, if you know this stuff, it's not real hard to understand, but for some people, I guess it's very hard, or they just don't care, because they go, oh, it doesn't affect me, or oh, it's not here, so it doesn't matter. And frankly, you know, I don't live in the biggest city in the world and all that, so you know, these people that I'm around, they don't really know anything about the world. They just know like whatever CIA programming they've been given, you know, from the way they talk to the way they dress to the way they act to the way they look to their little motions and stuff. I see this stuff. Like, I see them do it, and then I find people on the internet doing these same things. I'm like, okay, so whether you know it or not, you're copying this exact thing. I know my faults. I know where I come up with my stuff and whatnot, and I have good sources and so forth. From, you know, esoteric content to, you know, different things. But I see them doing like these TikTok things and all these different, you know, dances and stuff like that. I'm like, you didn't probably come up with that on your own, from the way they talk to the way their speech pattern to the way they dress. I mean, it's just a complete mental overload. It's been that way for a very long time, and I don't think it's that difficult of a concept to understand. It's like, why am I doing these things? Like, it's like a self-awareness thing. They don't know why they're doing things, they just do them. They don't really have reasons for doing things. And then, you know, you might have good people that get influenced by the other wrong people. They're doing very sinful, evil things that, you know, just abominable things. Abominations to God, all these different things. So, you know, I already know exactly how people that would find this video would think. If they're not a subscriber, they don't know me, they don't anything, they're like, oh, this guy must be a Trump supporting MAGA, you know, protection, rights, what, I don't even know what the words are, racist, a homophobe, a transphobe, a Republican, a Christian. It's like the same old thing. Like, most of those things I don't think are overly even accurate. Like, for almost anybody, I don't really believe in that stuff. None of that stuff is even real. Those are all government psyops in and of itself. They've been at these things for at least 100 years, you know. Before they even took over the land and whatnot, they were doing these things. You know, they took over the land, and now we're acting like all these things are going around. Nobody sees anything. Everything is over-exaggerated from the amount of people that are involved and so forth. So, I don't know what else to say beyond that. I hope you took something away from the video. You know, unfortunately, my old phone broke, and I'm back to my old phone. And this one doesn't allow me to record any type of screenshot, like screen record audio. So I upload a lot of stuff that just doesn't have audio. I came up with another thing where I can type on a screen and you can read it. I'm gonna probably try to do that more when I get to places I can, which is very rare, you know, obviously, but it's an idea I came up with. I do have a way of recording audio on another device and recording it with my phone. I try to watch my speed, my titles on YouTube. Obviously watching my strikes and stuff like that, so I don't have any issues. I think I already have 2 strikes. I have one strike on 2 channels, I believe, not XOYNI, but 2 of the smaller ones, which I have multiple. I hope people have comprehended that, or would check out my other videos, and, you know, at least subscribe to my other channels. You might not like everything, but I constantly am pumping out something for people. So, you know, I'd like to talk esoteric more, but another thing is, a lot of people don't really, it's so censored. Like, you say any words, your channel is already, like, censored for a long time. Like, I should have been seen by a lot more people, let's just say that. And, you know, between the bots and all these different things, you know, there's that. You know, it's just topic on topic to talk about. I could talk for all day, try to get information out, so forth. I got the main stuff I wanted people to understand. So it's just so much between YouTube and Google, and Google with the one eye symbolism and the 666, and there's logo, and the mark, and all the different things. You got your Apple Pay and your Tap Pay and all this stuff. Like, it's all going downhill. Like, people don't even know what cash is. All these different things, from, you can even look at the cash, how it has the one eye symbolism, it has the owl, and all the different occult symbols and stuff. They don't even understand anything. Like, these people have to reveal themselves. It's part of their belief, let's just say, of inversion. You have to do the opposite and make it mainstream. You have to make everything wrong right, and everything that's right wrong. So that's why everything's so messed up in the world, and everyone's mentally hurting. Then people putting things inside of them, to the food, to the trails, the cloud trails, all these different things. I'm watching my words. There's just so many different things, from trauma to the ultra of KM. I think you know how to decipher my words and whatnot. I got to speak around a computer that thinks it's smarter than humans. Well, it ain't gonna be, because we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna get this information out for as long as we can do it. I know eventually there'll be the mark and all that, and there'll be no cash, and there'll be no jobs, there'll be no food, there'll be no housing, there'll be no cars, there'll be no gas, there'll be no travel. America is one of the last countries that really has they are the ones with the most chance of doing it. So I would highly recommend that America really, actually pays attention. But they're so ingrained in their traditions of, oh man, football's on, and then it'll be basketball, then it'll be baseball, then it'll be hockey, then it'll be, whatever other entertainment, garbage TV shows, teach you how to overreact and, mess up your mentality. I understand it's hard to be around a lot of people because they don't understand any of this stuff. They don't understand how to even be a normal human being, because they were never taught to be. They were just, it's just absolutely incredible, is all I can say. Like, it's so easy to generalize, but you could go so far into detail. Everything that people do, they don't even think about. They don't understand how the brain works, how their brain shuts off when they're relaxed or they're not thinking. I go into the alpha state all the time, it's called. When your alpha brainwaves take over, you have your alpha state, means you're pretty much like, you're conscious and can do things, but you're not really even thinking about it. It's no different than things that you do all the time. Like, you can nod off when you're driving because you've driven so many times, or tying your shoes, or doing your job, or anything really. Your daily routine, you do the same thing over and over, exactly the same. You don't have to think about it. You've already made the decision what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. So that's just the easy way of explaining it, in my opinion. So, without mixing too much into this, obviously I'm going to keep on making videos, as many as I can, whatever I can. I have a lot of issues with it, between uploading and internet and charging and storage and the amount of time it takes. So hopefully you guys understand. I also am really trying to organize my playlists and stuff like that, so I can just share playlists. I'm trying to get information out. Talking to strangers is difficult, especially if you're working a job and you're doing customer service and you're trying to get something in their brain to think. You can't say what you want to say. They don't really get it. You only have a few seconds to kind of plant that seed for them. I've been in those positions before. I've done my best to do what I could do without just being like, here's this, here's that, connect this, connect that, connect this, connect that. Just tell them in advance, this is what's going to happen, this is how they do things, this is why they're doing it, all that. Obviously, we know about the bread-loving media, that land over there. They created the CIA, brought to Los Angeles, California, and that's really where they created a lot of stuff. So I mean, everything we're surrounded by is very it's very controlled, and everybody who's really a part of it, you know, they show themselves from low level to non-low level. So, you know, I want to make make a community here where we can talk about things and understand things and share things with each other and so forth. But you know, I don't get the time to edit and record and all these different things. I try to make content every day. I try to max out my content. Sometimes on my channels I'll upload the same thing on multiple channels just so I can get get stuff out there. I'm really doing my best to make content and so forth. There's so many different things to do constantly, like, you know, for example, like I get talking and stuff like that on here, and I'm also playing a game. It doesn't take a lot of thought to it, but I'm almost like not even playing the game just because I'm so deeply thinking of this stuff. But I mean, I hope some of it makes sense. Like I've said, I'm not trying to ramble, but I just wanted to get a lot of content out. It takes me a long time to upload. It takes, you know, just obvious things that most people just probably don't think about. And I don't really take things too seriously with people that, you know, they don't really understand all the different things that go into uploading and these different things, and how much time it actually takes. Or if the phone messes up, you have to take extra time. You don't get to edit. You can lose videos. Things can get erased. You only have so much storage. You know, obviously with Google, you can't really speak on most things, so you kind of have to acquiesce and go with something a little more cleaner for people, so to speak. It really, as long as you're not talking about the system and talking the truth, then it doesn't matter. You can talk politics or whatever you want, as long as you're fitting the narrative of the left and right division that isn't real, or pro this or anti this, when really it's all of them working together. I mean, that's not even a theory. It's not hard to figure out at all, I don't think. You can see that who everybody's associated with, and right after Trump becomes the next president, so to speak, look at all these things that have happened. And the last president, Biden, was just a complete, you know, actor too. You know, these guys have movies about them, you know, like Scary Movie and these different things. Hot Shots, the incompetent president, the crazy president that yells and screams and talks about America first and blah, blah, blah. Throws up the devil horn, talks about Satan and the serpent, and the snake bit the woman that helped him poem and all that Trump reads, and all the connection to Elon Musk and the Mark and all the different things. They're getting involved with mainstream entertainment, because no matter what it is, they all come out eventually and do little crossovers and stuff, because they need to get as many people involved in what they're doing as possible. So you could not be into politics or music or this or that, and then eventually, you know, you might be I don't know, some type of other entertainment. They're going to cross over, and there's going to be something political. There'll be at least one person speak up about it, and then someone else gets offended. They're all told to do these things. It's a very, very small majority of people that actually make their own decisions and so forth, that are on TV and whatnot. I really just believe that a lot of them are, you know, whether they're clones or they're victims. We'll just say KM ultra victims or whatever. You know, they make these people that can be controlled, and then they put them like in the military and they go over to other countries, say in America, because that's really where a lot of the cereals were. I've done a decent amount of research on cereal, and they create these people, they traumatize them, they teach them how to do this. They make very good puppets. So when something needs to happen, they do it. Or they need a person to take the fall for something, they'll do it. It's just so much information I understand to take in. This is not my first rodeo. I'm at least 8 years deep in this stuff. And I was telling people many years back a lot of this stuff. They probably don't remember to this day that I was telling them all this and that, or this random guy they ran into told them this and that. It's not about being right, it's about warning people so they can prepare for things and they really understand what's going to happen. And if I can tell you what's going to happen before it happens, it kind of gives credibility to all the people that put in hard work to learn all this stuff and to spread the information and so forth. So it's a very thankless type thing. You have to really care about what you're doing. You have to really know what you're talking about. You have to know how to get around things. You got to take all your emotions really out of things. And you have to just go with things and be like, okay, this is what I'm seeing here. This is what they're trying to get me to feel. And I can't fall for the script. I can't fall for, oh man, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe this happened or whatever. You know what's going to happen, because if you have any level of understanding, if you've talked to me for long enough, you'd know. This video right here should wake people up. These events should wake people up. And that's really all I have to say about it. So I'm going to go back inside and work on some other stuff. I'm going to be around loud people and so forth, but I did my best to record a video. Hopefully you guys stick around. Like I said, I've got other channels. I try to link them. I try to use my hashtags. I try to title things. I try to make shorts. I try to title my videos very well. So hopefully you'll see more of me soon. I appreciate you guys very much for checking out the content. I really didn't think this was going to be a 30-something minute video. I thought at about 10 I was going to stop, but I just kept going and tried to, plant some seeds. So that's all we can do right now is plant seeds and explain to people what's going to happen, how to prepare, and all these different things. So, a lot of it should be common sense. One thing is take your emotions out of it, understand it's all done on purpose, and more will come. So, when you take your emotions out of things and you just comprehend, it's much easier. I understand it's very hard to be around people when you have this information and such, and you try to talk to them, and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, this guy's crazy. And then, you get, all these, brainwashed type people that don't understand you and so forth. I guess they'll learn when they learn. They know stuff, and they refuse to continue on with their learning or whatever. So, I think that's a pretty good update for now. A little rant. I try to stay very calm on videos and so forth. I know it's a lot more, attractive on YouTube and whatnot. It's more pushed to be crazy and psychopath, just very nonsensical with your clickbaits and your, talking about nonsense and all these different things. So I'm actually trying to do something good. So I'm going to keep on doing my thing. But I feel like this is one of the bigger events that's happened in a long time, so I wanted to cover it, give a little update, and what's to come. So, like I said, once again, I appreciate you guys very much. Before I get into something else, I'm going to let you go. God bless. Have a good rest of the good rest of the year. Whenever the next time you hear from me. I appreciate you guys. God bless.